Hi everybody, welcome to my Cook at Home series with Tonya here at Cooking on the Bay. Tonight we're going to be cooking a fish pie, fish and vegetable pie. We've got some lovely John Dory fillets here which I've sliced. We're going to also add some cooked prawns which I actually bought yesterday from the South Melbourne market, and so we had a few left over. We thought we'd add those to the pie. And we're going to add some mussels to the pie as well. It's got various elements to it, so I'm going to start off by cooking my onions, which have been finely diced. In the pan I've got some extra virgin olive oil and some butter. So we always start off in the cold pan with the onions, and we'll slowly cook those for about 10 minutes. That's why I'm putting them on now, so that they can be cooking while we talk about the rest of the elements in the dish. In here I've steamed some cauliflower. Now, when it was first done, it actually looked quite vibrant, but that was about half an hour ago, and so the green has gone a little bit from the leaves, but that's okay. I've included the leaves because we're going to puree it and make a cauliflower puree to go on top of our pie. Okay, so that's one element there, which we'll puree in 1 second. And then we're also going to steam our spinach, which is going in the pie. So while I'm pureeing the cauliflower, I'm going to put the spinach on. And we'll steam that for just a few minutes until it's wilted. That's good, that's all right. Okay, so over here we have our cauliflower, which I'm going to pop into my little container, and I'm going to use the stick blender. The cauliflower takes about 6 or 7 minutes to steam. It's quite quick. And I always include the stalks, and can you see that, Michael? The stalks of cauliflower, because they give lots of flavour. And I'll put those leaves in because the leaves did look lovely. And to that we're going to add some cream, a little bit of cream, about 30 or 40 mils of cream, and this one, just to give it a little bit of liquid. We're going to add some Philadelphia cream cheese, so just a cream cheese, and a little bit of butter. Hang on a second, I'm just checking my onions here. You can hear the onions are starting to come to a sizzle. I know it's hard when we're doing a few things at once, but this is just for the speed of the exercise of this movie video. So I'll just make a little bit of noise with the stick blender. If you've got a Thermomix, it makes it very easy because you can cook it all in the same. But otherwise, you can steam it and do it like I am. You could also do this in the food processor. It works very nicely. So now we'll be able to add a little bit more butter. And that's about 40 grams of Philadelphia cheese, which I may break up actually. Just turning down my onions, I don't want them to colour. So just puree this nicely, and we've also got a little bit of grated cheese, grated Parmigiano Reggiano, to add to this. So it's quite a flavoursome, flavourful topping. This is the topping that is going on our pie. Can you see in there, Michael? So that's nicely pureed, and this is the same cauliflower puree that I use in lots of dishes, okay? We use it instead of mashed potato. You could put it on the top of a shepherd's pie or a variety of other things, okay? So I'll just leave that to one side. Pull that off. Good. So, getting back to our onions, I'm going to add just a little bit more oil to that so that they don't catch on the bottom. And then I'm going to add the carrots, okay, because the carrots have to be sweated down as well. which is happening. I'm also going to start the cooking of my mussels, all right? So I'm going to put the water, there's a little bit, you might like to have a look in here, Michael. There's a little bit of water in here, only about perhaps a centimetre, 2 centimetres at the most. And I've just put in some parsley stalks to give it a little bit of flavour. But there's so much flavour in the rest of the dish that I don't need to flavour it anymore. But if you were just cooking the mussels to eat as on their own, you could add some wine, some onion, some garlic, bay leaf, and some peppercorns to this pot. Okay. So coming over here to my mussels, I'll just put that there. Perhaps a little bit of butter to that. Coming over to the mussels. Now I did clean these earlier, and that's going on top of my cauliflower. I did clean these earlier and removed all their beards, and I'm so sorry, but I actually did them all. I forgot as I was going along. I was just happily doing it, and then all of a sudden I thought, oh my goodness, that's the end. So there's often a little beard. These days the mussels come quite well clean because they get tossed around in a special machine and the barnacles get removed. But there's often a little bit of hairy stuff outside there called the beard. And to remove it, you just pull it, hold the mussel tight and pull it up like that. But I'm sorry, they're all off. Now, the way to tell whether a mussel is alive, there's a little bit of one left over, Michael, see that? I didn't see that before. Oh, you've probably missed it by now. See that little bit there? So that's what you pull off. The way to tell that a mussel's alive is you can see that some of these are open, but when I did them about an hour or two ago, they were closed nicely. So, and you can see that one's closing now. I'll put a few out, and you'll see them close. See them closing, Michael? Can you see that? That's good, isn't it? So you only want to cook mussels that are totally closed. These few that I had out here, they didn't close. So I'm going to reject those. They haven't closed at all. And even that one, it's almost closed. The fishmonger would say they're okay because they're perfectly fresh. That one I think we'll use, that's fine. But I am always a bit on the side of caution when it comes to mussels and these sorts of things, especially in cooking classes where you don't want the people to have any illness because of the mussel. Mussels are a really nice seafood. They're readily available these days and they're quite inexpensive. So a kilo of mussels is about $10. And you can buy them from Port Arlington, or they come from Port Arlington. The local ones here come they either come loose, you can buy them in whatever quantities you like, or they come in a bag of a kilo. And the ones from South Australia come cryovac, and they come in their own seawater, and they last for up to a week or so quite safely because you know they're cryovac. So this spinach is basically done now, which I'll have a look, Michael. It's just wilted nicely, so you've got this lovely green colour. Okay. I'm going to put that to one side, and when it cools down, I'm going to squeeze out all the water. So I'm going to put that there for it to cool so I can touch it. I didn't put the pot on. So I'll put the water on for the mussels. As soon as this comes to the boil, we'll throw the mussels in all at once. See, they haven't. Where's that closed? That's closed. So throw the mussels in all at once, and then we're going to give the pot a vigorous shake around so that we distribute the heat nicely. With the eggs, we've got 3 hard-boiled eggs here. We're going to slice them open and quarter them, like so. And we're going to pop them in the bottom of our pie dish. Let's move that over. Yeah. Oops. Let's see it there. vegetables are sweating down well. I love hard-boiled eggs. The way to cook a hard-boiled egg, I know people probably think they just put the eggs in the water and bring it to the boil, but these are quite well scented, so when you put them in the water and as you're bringing it to the boil, if you stir it round, the yolk centres well, especially if you're wanting to make stuffed eggs or deviled eggs and things like that, you want the yolk in the centre. So stir it around and then boil the egg, bring it to the boil for 2 minutes and then turn the heat off and let them sit in the water for 10 minutes and they come out perfectly, as these ones are. Lovely. And they don't have the black ring around them because they haven't been overcooked. If they have a black ring around them, you know that they've been overcooked. So let's see what's going on in here. The fish I'm using tonight is a John Dory. I think I mentioned that, did I? John Dory? That I bought at the South Melbourne Market on Sunday. And it's a nice fish for a fish pie. When you're choosing a fish, you can use a variety of different fishes, but make sure you buy one that's quite firm and it won't disintegrate when it's actually being cooked. It gets cooked quite gently in this pie, in that it's being surrounded by a nice sauce, mostly cream, and cheese, and that's about it really. Oh, a little bit of wine, and we're going to add to my sauce tonight this beautiful, beautiful crab stock, which I had in the freezer, and I reduced it down this afternoon, and you can see that is seriously lovely. Beautiful, beautiful, rich, luscious sauce. Now you more than likely aren't going to have that on hand, and so that's perfectly fine. The wine and the cream is lovely. I'm just adding it because I've got it. I will do a video on stock making. We do classes here on stock making, and one of those stocks that we make is the fish stock, and with the fish stock we make the crab stock, and it's quite a wonderful process and gives the best flavour to our seafood bouillabaisse and bourride that we make here. Oh, there we go. I'm going to turn this down. So you can hear that bubbling away. We're going to pop all of our mussels in all at once. Give them a nice shake around. Just get the heat. And we'll give them a minute or two before we start taking them out. You want to take the mussels out as soon as they open up. As soon as they open, they're ready. What happens, I think, with people and their mussels is that they often cook them for too long and they become tough. But these ones will be lovely and juicy and very tender, and we're going to obviously add them to our pie. The ones that I don't use tonight, I'm actually going to take out of the shells and I'm going to reserve because I'm about to make pumpkin and mussel soup, which I have made already in this video series, but because I did it with another dish, it actually hasn't been featured, so we're going to make it on its own, a lovely pumpkin and mussel soup. So now we'll add I'll add the wine first. A little bit of wine. Just put that heat up. This is about 1/4 cup. This is 1/2 cup. I'm going to put about 1/4 cup in. Oh, that's a little more. So we've got about a cup altogether. No, sorry, 1/4 cup. What am I saying? Just stir around. Just to cook off the wine, and then we'll put the. There's a couple over here. So Michael, you might like to come in and have a look at these as they pop open. They don't pop open quite like the pippies do. When you cook pippies, they go pop, ping, ping. These ones, oh, can't get it. That one's good. There's another one. There's another one. Oh, this one down there. These are all different shapes and sizes. Normally they're all that same size, but these ones have there are some very big ones and then very little ones. Oh, and as I look at these all have perfect shells. If you find any broken shells, I don't use mussels with broken shells either. Oh. So it's a very quick process cooking the mussels. Okay, so we've added our cream and it's starting to reduce down. We've got the juice of a lemon, which I'm also going to add, and we've got a teaspoon of mustard, about so, quite a generous teaspoon. And we're going to add our beautiful crab stock. So that's the quarter of a cup. So it's about half a cup there. And I'm going to scrape out all that nice reduction glaze around the outside. Okay, it really has the most beautiful flavour and smell that makes it very special. However, it will be lovely without it because there's lots of good things happening with your wine and your fish in there as well. So I won't taste it just yet because we're going to add all this cheese, about 2 handfuls of cheese. So that is about 120 grams. Okay, we're going to save the rest to put on the top as a bit of a garnish. And with the rest of these mussels, these did open up. Oh, look at that little tiny one, see? And it took so long to open. I'll take them all out. Those 2 didn't open at all, so we're going to leave those little numbers behind. And as I said, I'm going to reserve that mussel juice, but you put it into your fish pie. I've got a handful of parsley, which I'm also going to add. And I'm going to taste it now and just see what it's like. We will be, as usual, adding some salt and pepper, but there is a bit of salt in that Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. 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 Oh, I just wish that you could taste all these things. But you will when you make them at home. So let me know how you go. Amazingly, you hardly need any salt with that, but I am going to put in about half a teaspoon because there's a lot of other ingredients that are going to be going into the pie. So that's sort of a largest half teaspoon, I guess. And a few good grains of pepper. As you know, I love my pepper. So that's really thickening up nicely. I'll just give it another taste to make sure that there is enough of the pepper. You can taste, oh, the cheese, the pepper, the lemon, delicious. Okay, so the next step is to do the spinach, which I'll get up from over here. It's a handful of, in fact it was a couple of handfuls of fresh spinach. Wring this out so that it removes all the liquid, and I'm just going to splodge it round. Sorry, go on, I'll come back. Here we go. Just wring out all that moisture. The vegetables that I'm going to have with this tonight are the beans there, the green beans and the broccoli. Obviously you could have any vegetables that you like, but the green beans and broccoli will be a nice colour to add to this. And I'm going to just put spread it round, separate it out. So it's very colourful with its lovely yellow eggs, white fish, green, parsley, spinach. Very good. Okay. And I am going to put a couple of grinds of pepper over the eggs. Oh, sorry, salt. And I'll put some pepper on as well. I have a little bit of nutmeg here, which I'm also going to grate in at the end. Now look, I've got this amount of parsley left over, and I'm actually going to sprinkle that around after we've got our fish in. So we put our fish into the pie. The oven's on 200, waiting. So this is 2 pieces of John Dory, lovely fillets of John Dory. So this pie would really serve about 3 people, so there'll be a little bit left over for lunchtime tomorrow. I sometimes make them in little individual dishes as well, little pie dishes. Okay. And then we'll get some of our prawns. Oh, and with the prawns, I'm going to obviously remove the tails. So just chop off, hold that, pull out the prawn. Just hold that little bit, pull out the prawn. These are beautiful prawns. We always toss up whether we'll buy cooked prawns, shelled or unshelled, and my fishmonger says that it's about the same price, whether they're shelled or unshelled. So we opt for these, and they're always tender and delicious. So all this seafood comes from Aptus Seafood at the South Melbourne Market, and he is quite renowned as being an especially good supplier. These little tails I'm going to put in the freezer, and I'll add them to a stock for some other dish that we're going to be. I might even put them in with the mussel juice to add to our pumpkin soup tomorrow. So all those things add extra flavour, which is what you're wanting in your food. It's all about the flavour. And the mussels. Where are my mussels? So now we'll just pick out some of these nice big mussels. Scatter those around. This is laden with seafood. You certainly do not have to have prawns in this. And if you're not a fan of mussels, you don't have to have mussels either. But we love mussels. And I'm adding the big ones. Save the small ones for my fish, my mussel and pumpkin soup for tomorrow. So if you're really eager to do a mussel and pumpkin soup, you'll see it. I cooked it with the mascarpone and pumpkin tart, frittata, that we made early on in the series. But as I said, it got lost in there because I did 2 things on the one take, which I've decided since isn't a good idea. I think that could be about enough. I think. Looks good to me. There's just one more in there. Okay. So I'll put a little bit of nutmeg. Lovely fresh nutmeg has a stronger, more pungent flavour and aroma than already powdered nutmeg. So if you can, buy your nutmeg whole and grate it as you need it. Okay, so where's my spatula? Oh, not that one, oh, this one. So now we'll just pour this in. I'm just checking that I've got everything in. I think I have. I'll put some parsley over the top. So spread it around. Make sure that they're all nicely underneath. I mightn't be able to put any more in that juice in, I don't think. So, there we go. I am going to sprinkle a little bit of parsley over that. And then we're going to put on top, we're going to put our cauliflower puree, which is down here. I'll bring it here. Now, when I made this before, you right there, Michael? Yeah. When I made this before, I actually forgot to put this extra bit of cheese in, so I am going to add it now and just stir it around. I think we've probably got enough cheese in this dish though, so it's not going to be missed really. And I'm going to add, we didn't add our salt, so I'm going to add my little teaspoon of salt. Give it a little taste. But I think the whole thing is going to be very flavoursome. You can see that the nice little green flecks of the cauliflower leaves look really pretty in there. This is lovely. If you haven't made cauliflower puree like this and used it as a vegetable or as a base for various things that you might have used potato for before, it's really quite fantastic. And even if you're not a cauliflower lover now, you will become one. What's not to like with cauliflower, cheese, cream and butter? This cooks for about half an hour. I think I may have put a smidgen too much of the cream mixture, liquid, but that's okay. So I'm not going to trust my luck any further with that. So just like so, and then we're going to, just in case you think we've had enough cheese, we're going to put a little bit of cheese on top to get a little bit of goldenness going. And pop that in the oven. Now in the oven, I actually have it on an oven tray so that, just one of my old trays here, so that if this does happen, in fact I think I might have to bring it over here because I think it might even, may spill a little before I even get it to the oven. That's unlike me to overfill things like that. So I might just give it a wipe, I think. Those last couple of spoonfuls were just a bit over the top. So we'll see. Fingers crossed we may have a little spillover. In fact, I think it's more than likely. Okay. So now we're going to put this in. The timer will go on for about half an hour. It's in a 200-degree oven, which is quite hot. And there we go. We'll bring it out in half an hour or so. So while the pie is finishing off in the oven, I thought we would just wok toss our vegetables, which is what I often do for our vegetables of an evening. I've got some, as you would imagine, some extra virgin olive oil in here, along with some butter. I'm just going to coat these in the butter and the oil. Look at that lovely colour. Can you see that, Michael? The colour that's coming out of those already? They just turn this lovely luminescent green. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of salt in there and a little bit of pepper I'm going to just add a little bit of water to sweat it down a little bit. We don't want it to lose its crunch, but we just want it to be a little bit, cook a little bit quicker. So we'll put that on there, and I will go and have a look in our oven and get our pie out. And it certainly looks luscious, and as we expect, there is a little bit of overspill, so I'm very glad that I put my trusty old pan underneath it. So there we go. So I'm now going to add these beans, these lovely green beans. Give them a little bit of salt as well. We're going to have a look inside this pie. Given the fact that it's quite a runny mixture, it actually isn't going to look so good on the plate. So I suggest that unless you're having it as a family meal, if you're wanting to serve it to your guests, it would be best done in individual pie dishes. As you will see, I'll show you. So let's just remove it from there. Can you see that, Michael? Does it look good? Does it look good to you? A little bit, as you can see, of the liquid that's come out. Looks fabulous to me. Does that look good to you? Does it look good to you over there? Fantastic. Okay, now just before I cut into it, you can see I'm tantalising myself. I'm going to turn that heat down a little bit. So let's open it up and see. I feel like 4 and 20 blackbirds here, baked in a pie. Oh. Now you can see that it's very creamy, so I don't think it's going to plate very nicely, but I'll do my best just to show you the seafood inside. Can you see that, Michael? Is that looking good? Luscious. Oh, full of all that beautiful seafood. Look at that fish. Oh, the smell is just sensationally good. Okay, so considering, I think that looks quite okay on your plate. However, I think it would be better done in a pie dish. So certainly for entertaining, as I said, for your family, that looks pretty. And with the vegetables, which I'll just put to one side. There we go. For our vegetables. So we'll have some nice, beautiful beans. Are beautiful at the moment. I get my lovely vegetables from Frank's Fruiteries at the South Melbourne Market. Joe and Gino there will look after you. And I was there the other day. I normally do my order online and collect it via their pickup service. But I had to go back in to get the seafood. And Gino was so happy to say hello. It was just really lovely to see my old friends there again. So I look forward to the time when we can go back. So there's our lovely fish pie with our prawns and our mussels as well, with vegetables on the side. So do give it a try. The aroma is just lovely, and I'm sure you'll adore the flavour. So bye-bye for now, and I will see you next time. Bye.